Hello, I'm Yogi Stillness, and thank you for joining us. I'll be your guide in today's meditation. Today we'll explore how mindfulness can increase our emotional awareness to help prevent us from coasting through life on autopilot. We'll begin by sitting on the floor, a cushion, or in a chair. When you feel ready, allow your eyes to close and tune into your breathing. Let's take 3 breaths together. Start by taking a big inhale in and hold it. Then a deep exhale, pushing air out from your belly. And another big breath in and pause. And out with a big exhale. Last time, take a deep inhale and hold it. And a long exhale, letting it all go. Now watch closely as your breath settles into a natural rhythm. If your mind gets lost or overwhelmed, come back to watching your breath and trying to let everything else go. Listen to your thoughts one at a time. Notice which thoughts are neutral, things you hear or sensations in your body. Notice which thoughts have emotional energy, discomfort, frustration, happiness, or sadness. If it feels okay, focus in on some of those feelings for a moment. Allow whatever to arise, even if it's a little uncomfortable. If it ever feels like too much, return to watching your breath or a neutral thought. Continue this emotional check-in for a few moments in silence on your own. If your mind has drifted off with any distractions, return to observing the breath and neutral thoughts. Look for any emotions that might be lurking inside waiting to be acknowledged. Sit with any emotion you notice, whether it is positive or negative. You might allow yourself to bubble up with joy over a recent success, or you might dwell on some point of sadness you haven't given much attention to. If it ever feels too much, remember, you can return to your breath or a neutral thought. Continue observing whatever emotions seem the most unnoticed to you in silence for a few minutes. Come back to the breath, watching the slow rise and fall of your belly as you inhale and exhale. When we are in action mode, it's like our brains put blinders on. If we are focused in on the task, there can be so much information around us that it becomes distracting, so our brains can decide to shut out anything that doesn't seem relevant. If we are playing with our phones, we might lose track of time or not hear someone trying to talk to us. If we go for a walk while we're on a call, we might lose track of where we are. If we're trying to listen to someone talk, our brains can shut out all the noises around us, enough to focus on the words we are trying to hear. And when our minds are focused on our environment, we can easily lose track of our inner selves. In the whirlwind of life, when we become overly focused on what we are experiencing, we can forget to ask how we are experiencing it. Our mindfulness practice helps to direct awareness to those places it doesn't naturally go on its own, so we become aware of things that might typically fly under the radar. And this is why it can be essential to check in with ourselves from time to time, gauging our feelings and energy, and using that to be more mindful in our daily lives. forget to check in, we may not be fully aware of how our stress is affecting us. It is also possible to be so caught up in productivity that we forget to appreciate the feelings that come from our actions. Even when we are doing selfless deeds, it can be important for us to check in with how we feel and not get so caught up in the work that we don't even notice the potential emotional benefits. At the same time, when we are doing something that negatively affects others or engaging in actions that don't meet our moral standards, we may try to ignore the guidance that our feelings can offer by keeping our heads down and pouring into our work. Whatever we do, there is always an emotional experience that is created within us, sometimes strongly, sometimes faintly. Tuning in to our emotional awareness can guide us to choose actions that help us feel good and do good. Checking in on ourselves from time to time can keep us on course, allowing us to notice if what's going on inside affects our outer world, or simply to become aware of the little pressures removed from the mind. The mindful act of checking in with our feelings can help us live up to our values and remember to experience the joys that life can manifest. Come back into your body now. Shrug your shoulders backwards a few times. Now reverse and roll your shoulders forward a few times. Take one last clearing breath in and hold it. And let it out. Then allow your eyes to open. Thank you for showing up for your mindfulness practice today. We are grateful for the opportunity to support you in self-care and look forward to meeting here again tomorrow.